Hey, second grade friends, it's Mrs. Lynn. I'm here to say hi. Hope everyone's doing really well. I miss you all. Hope everything's going good. Hope everyone's healthy. Hope you're behaving for your parents. Yep, we're actually doing that, right? It looks like we're going to be doing some learning on the computer for the next few weeks. So I'm going to hop on today. We're going to do a read aloud together. There'll be some other lessons posted here on the YouTube channel that'll come up every week. Make sure you're getting on iReady. Mrs. Lynn's going to assign you some assignments, and Miss Clothier and Miss Clapp are going to do the same thing for her students. But I hope everyone's good. I miss you all very, very much. Yeah. Nothing too much new going on here. Mrs. Lynn's hanging at home with her puppy, Lily Bear, and wish I was at work with you guys. I miss you all very much. So let's get started here. Let me try to get this in. Today we're going to read the story Chrysanthemum by Kevin Henkes. Mrs. Lynn's going to try, after she reads the pages, to show you the book so you can see the pictures. Okay. The day she was born was the happiest day in her parents' lives. She's perfect, said her mother. Absolutely, said her father. And she was absolutely perfect. Very cute, right? Her name must be everything she is, said her mother. Her name must be absolutely perfect, said her father. And it was. Chrysanthemum. Her parents named her Chrysanthemum. Oh, baby girl mouse. So cute. Chrysanthemum grew and grew and grew, and when she was old enough to appreciate it, Chrysanthemum loved her name. Cool name, right? Different. She loved the way it sounded when her mother woke her up. She loved the way it sounded when her father called her for dinner, and she loved the way it sounded when she whispered it to herself in the bathroom mirror. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum loved the way her name looked when it was written with ink on an envelope. She loved the way it looked when it was written with icing on her birthday cake. And she loved the way it looked when she wrote it herself with her big fat orange crayon. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum thought her name was absolutely perfect. And then she started school. On the first day, Chrysanthemum wore her sunniest dress and her brightest smile. She ran all the way. Hooray, said Chrysanthemum. School! But when Mrs. Chud took roll call, everyone giggled upon hearing Chrysanthemum's name. That's not very nice. So the other kids don't like her name. It's so long, said Joe. It scarcely fits on your name tag, said Rita, pointing. I'm named after my grandmother, said Victoria. You're named after a flower. Chrysanthemum wilted. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. The rest of the day was not much better. During nap time, Victoria raised her hand and informed Mrs. Chud that Chrysanthemum's name was spelled with 13 letters. That's exactly half as many letters as there are in the entire alphabet, Victoria exclaimed. Thank you for sharing that with us, Victoria, said Mrs. Chud. Now put your head down. Kids aren't being very nice to her, are they? I think Chrysanthemum's a pretty name. If I had a name like yours, I'd change it, Victoria said. And the students lined up to go home. I wish I could, thought Chrysanthemum miserably. You should always be very proud of your name, especially since your parents gave it to you. Welcome home, said her mother. Welcome home, said her father. School is no place for me, said Chrysanthemum. My name is too long. It scarcely fits on my name tag. And I'm named after a flower. Oh, pish, said her mother. Your name is beautiful and precious and priceless and fascinating and winsome, said her father. It's everything you are, said her mother. Absolutely perfect, said her father. Parents trying to comfort her. Chrysanthemum felt much better after her favorite dinner, which was macaroni and cheese with ketchup. It's an interesting combination. And an evening filled with hugs and kisses and parcheesi, which is a game that looks like almost like Monopoly. That night, Chrysanthemum dreamed that her name was Jane. It was an extremely pleasant dream. Wonder why she thinks that's such a much better name than Chrysanthemum. Maybe because it's shorter, more common. The next morning, Chrysanthemum wore her most comfortable jumper. She walked to school as slowly as she could. I wonder why she's walking slowly. Maybe she just doesn't want to go to school today. She dragged her feet in the dirt. Chrysanthemum, 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 she wrote. Sorry, guys, I hope you can see these pictures. This is new. She even looks like a flower, said Victoria, as Chrysanthemum entered the playground. Let's pick her, said Rita, pointing. Let's smell her, said Joe. Chrysanthemum wilted. She didn't think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. Kids are saying mean things to her because she's named after a flower. Like picking her and smelling her. Not very nice, right? The rest of the day was not much better. During nap time, Victoria raised her hand and said, a chrysanthemum is a flower. It lives in the garden with worms and other dirty things. Thank you for sharing that with us, Victoria, said Mrs. Chudd. Now, put your head down. This little Victoria is not very nice, is she? But she wouldn't like if someone said that to her. I just cannot believe your name, Victoria said as the students lined up to go home. Neither can I, thought Chrysanthemum miserably. Hanging in there with me? Welcome home, said her mother. Welcome home, said her father. School is no place for me, said Chrysanthemum. They said I even look like a flower. They pretended to pick me and smell me. Oh, pish, said her mother. They're just jealous. And envious and begrudging and discontented and jaundiced, said her father. Who wouldn't be jealous of a name like yours, said her mother. After all, it's absolutely perfect, said her father. Parents trying to make her feel better again. Chrysanthemum felt a trifle better after having her favorite dessert, chocolate cake with buttercream frosting, just like vanilla frosting. And another evening filled with hugs and kisses and parcheesi again. A Monopoly type game. And there's the cake. That night, Chrysanthemum dreamed that she really was a chrysanthemum. She sprouted leaves and petals. Victoria picked her and plucked the leaves and petals one by one until there was nothing left but a scrawny stem. It was the worst nightmare of Chrysanthemum's life. And remember, Chrysanthemum is actually like this really pretty yellow flower. She's actually dreaming that she is this flower. Chrysanthemum wore her outfit with 7 pockets the next morning. She loaded the pockets with her most prized possessions and her good luck charms. Chrysanthemum took the longest route possible to school. Doesn't really want to go today at all, does she? She stopped and stared at each and every flower. Chrysanthemum, 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 the flowers seemed to say. Taking a long time to go to school today. Probably doesn't want to see that Victoria girl today. The next morning, the students were introduced to Mrs. Twinkle, the music teacher. Her voice was like something out of a dream, as was everything else about her. The students were speechless. They thought Mrs. Twinkle was an incredible wonder. They went out of their way to make a nice impression. There's our music teacher. Kind of like Miss Quinones, right? Singing. Mrs. Twinkle led the students in scales. Then she assigned roles for the class musicale. Victoria was chosen as a dainty fairy queen. Rita was chosen as a spiffy butterfly princess. Joe was chosen as an all-important pixie messenger, and Chrysanthemum was chosen to be a daisy, which is another type of flower. It's a white flower with a yellow center. I wonder how she's going to feel about being a flower in the school play after she's named after a flower. Chrysanthemum's a daisy, chrysanthemum's a daisy, Joe and Rita and Victoria chanted, thinking it was wildly funny. Chrysanthemum wilted again. She didn't think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. What? So humorous, said Mrs. Twinkle. Chrysanthemum was the answer. Her name is so long, said Joe. It scarcely fits on her name tag, said Rita, pointing. I'm named after my mother, said Victoria. She's named after a flower. Think the teacher's going to stand up for her? I know I would. My name is long, said Mrs. Twinkle. It is, said Joe. My name would scarcely fit on a name tag, said Mrs. Twinkle. It wouldn't, said Rita. And, said Mrs. Twinkle, I'm named after a flower, too. You are, said Victoria. Wonder what her real name is. Yes, said Mrs. Twinkle, my name is Delphinium, which is another type of flower. Delphinium Twinkle. And if my baby is a girl, I'm considering naming her Chrysanthemum, too. I think it's absolutely perfect. So her teacher even thinks Chrysanthemum's name is perfect, and when she has her baby and if it's a girl, she wants to name her Chrysanthemum too. Chrysanthemum could hardly believe her ears. She blushed, she beamed, she bloomed. Chrysanthemum, Chrysanthemum, Chrysanthemum. And now she loves her name. Someone else told her name was perfect, like her. Joe, Rita, and Victoria looked at Chrysanthemum longingly. Call me Marigold, said Joe, which is another type of flower. I'm a carnation, said Rita, pointing. Another flower. My name is Lily of the Valley, said Victoria. Another flower. That's like my puppy, Lily. She's named after a flower, too. Chrysanthemum did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She knew it. So now she likes her name. Look how proud she's walking. So this is the epilogue. This is how the story ends. Overall, the class musicale was a huge success. Chrysanthemum was absolutely perfect as a daisy. Victoria made only one mistake. She completely forgot her lines as the dainty fairy queen. Chrysanthemum thought it was wildly funny, and she giggled throughout the entire dance of the flowers. Eventually, Mrs. Twinkle gave birth to a healthy baby girl, and of course, she named her. What do you think she named her? She named her Chrysanthemum. And there's a picture of her little baby. There's a picture of Chrysanthemum in the class musicale, dancing around as the little daisy, and Victoria forgetting her lines as the fairy queen. Well, I hope you all like that very much. Maybe you can tell me a story about how you were named and how you have your name. Ask your parents why they named you what they named you. Maybe it's a cool, interesting story. Maybe you're named after someone in your family, or you're named after something really important to them, or maybe just because your name is special and wonderful. Well, I miss you all very, very much. I will be on here again for other videos, for music. Not music, oh God, no music. Maybe for reading and for writing. And I know Miss Clapp's going to be on teaching math, and Miss Clothier will be as well. So I hope you all take care. Miss you all very much. Be good for your parents. Bye.